really, really making this weekend special for us. It's really been enjoyable, and thank you for that. I had a commercial agent when I was in Los Angeles, and I had some luck with commercials, but never really had much of a career, and I got an audition through my commercial agent for, they said it was called an Untitled Video Game Project. And I thought, it's probably a promo for some video game that's made. And I went to it, and it turned out to be Red Dead Redemption. And so for the last, 12 years, I guess, I've been so happy that I was given that opportunity, even though I didn't know what it was. I went, and it's completely changed my life in such a great way. So if you ever get involved in acting or any kind of whatever you're going for, go. And hopefully it works out for you the way that it worked out for me. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you all for coming. It's been awesome meeting all of you. It's been such a fantastic experience. All of the hate love that I've been getting has been awesome, actually. So thank you for that. You earned it. Thanks. But yeah, I'll sort of mirror what Robin said regarding getting involved in the project, for example. It was a random audition, and I don't know what the hell it was for. Then I didn't hear anything for like 6 months. I got a call, and I still didn't know what the hell it was for. Because I didn't remember doing the audition, I didn't know what the audition was for. So when I showed up, and then lo and behold, 5.5 years of working on the project, and meeting all these relatively decent people, fantastic people, and becoming such great friends with all of them, and then of course being able to come here and get to know all of you guys. So thank you for coming. It's been great.
Hi, I'm Alex McKenna. It truly is amazing to be here with this whole gang, because we really do love each other. And to meet you guys, it's been very, very meaningful. So thanks for showing up and coming to see us. And I like hearing what your favorite parts are, how the game has affected you, because, in reality, we've spent a lot of time together. And I guess I got started in acting when I was very little, doing commercials, and then had my first series when I was 7, and took some time off, went to school, studied other things, and then came back to acting because it's in my blood. I love it. And to echo pretty much what everyone else has been saying, got an audition, had no idea what it was for. They just told me to do some kind of southern accent, and I was like, all right, I can do that. Came back, then about a month later, was told to show up at the location. Still had no idea what I was doing, and when I saw the Rockstar logo, I completely geeked out because I had played their games, and I was so excited that it started to become clear that I was going to be a part of something. To what degree, I didn't know, and I still didn't know for the first couple years. And then I got to watch my character develop and form real relationships with these guys, and it's been a real pleasure.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Byron Davis. I guess I started acting as a kid doing children's theater in Boston, where I grew up. Got my degree at NYU, School of the Arts. Been working in theater and film for 20 years. I booked the first Red Dead, like Rob and Steve both said, at a commercial casting audition. And then that yielded that first game, and then I got the call to do the second one. I was hoping we'd do a good job. I think we've done okay. Thank you. And we were at it so long, some of you might have seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, some of you might have seen the Belko Experiment, but in the time it took all of us to make Red Dead, I was lucky enough to do 2 of the movies that came out, got on video before this game came out. But I'm real pleased, we all are, to be here with all of you. All the work we did, all the time we put in, it wouldn't mean a thing if it wasn't for you. So thanks for having us.
You know, there's so much talent in one city right now. And what was it like working with each other? What was it like working at Rockstar?
Working at Rockstar, I've been working with them on and off. Wait, did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Working at Rockstar, I mean, on and off for 10 years, it's an amazing experience that we mostly can't talk about. But it was, I love these guys like family, and we certainly learned so much about ourselves and our characters, where all we had to communicate with was each other. You know, no one knew what was going on but us in secrecy for a big handful of years. I'd say about 5. And we only had so much time together, everything just kind of permeated through our skins, and we encompassed so much of what our characters became. And that went out through the work. But as you fans know, Rockstar's not going to put forth a product until it is 100% and amazing and pristine. And that's what you got me at. We work with amazing everyone, from the producers, the writers, our fantastic director, Rod Edge. Everything was done in such precision until it was perfect, and we really just had a great time to invest in these amazing characters.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Steve. I'll just add to that, man. We slogged away on this project 5 years. But what was most amazing for all of us, I think, is that we didn't understand there were literally thousands of other people who were working away at their departments, slogging away just like we were, focusing on our tasks. But they were doing their own thing, and none of us properly realized the scope and the magnitude of everyone's hard work until the game came out 5 months ago now. And the way it all just blended and synergized together, really, I think it blew all of our minds.
Yeah, I want to add too, real quickly, that the environment that we worked in, we worked for a company that we knew was very good at what they do. To see them do, each person had their own responsibilities, but they were also willing and able to help each other out if anybody needed help. And they were all very for each other. Everybody had a common goal, and they worked hard to reach it together. And I think, working in an environment when you know that people are genuinely trying to help each other be better. It's not like a competition thing. It's not a cutthroat thing. It's a let's do this together and encourage each other and be supportive of each other. You can really get some amazing results from that. And I hope that everybody experiences that kind of work environment. I know that it's not likely that everyone will, but I hope that you do, because really amazing things can happen. And you can leave that situation a better person than you were when you went into it. So that was part of my experience.
I'd just add that we're the tip of the iceberg in terms of the number of people that were devoted to this game. And I don't know, we get a lot of attention, but there was 2,000, I think, people working on this thing. We couldn't have done this without them. Anyway,
There's one.
Anyone who's finished the game, you just have to look at the credits at the end of it, man. It goes on for like half an hour. Everyone on that list is amazing.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And you so besides your role in the game, but you guys are notable actors and actresses as well too. Real quick question to Alex. Being in a game with a strong, or an all-male cast, but having a strong female lead, how was that like?
Well, I was very, very fortunate due to the writing that Sadie, yes, she's a female, but she's just a strong character. And I think Rockstar did something that is rather unusual in the gaming world, where my character has an incredible arc. She starts out, she's basically lost everything. She's vulnerable, she's in a bad way, and becomes this incredible badass. And because Rockstar just let her be a strong character and not just a strong female, she's not a love interest either. There's a really wonderful friendship and mutual admiration and respect that they foster throughout the story. And it was pretty awesome. For me, Alex, I loved being, the one lady in the gang. These boys are our family. We just had a blast, and all consummate actors. I couldn't have had a better cast to play off of. We're really, really fortunate. I know we've said this to some of you individually, but doing the scenes together was like performing theater in the round. And so we were in a studio that looks a bit like what we're sitting in now, except cameras everywhere. We're wearing what I like to call scuba diver superhero suits, which were just, dressed in tight black jumpsuits with these motion capture balls all over us, and helmets, cameras, so we're basically in close-up the entire time, which is why our characters resemble us so much, essentially.
That brings me a question. I'm sorry. I wanted to just bounce off what you just said. One of the things I was wondering about is being veteran actors of stage and screen and TV and all these various other media. What are some of the intrinsic challenges that you encounter when doing a video game as opposed to those others?
I'm just going to say one, hugging. Hugging is a problem because you have so many wires. And so you're like, oh God, we gotta cut. I'm stuck. Can somebody get me on?
So I called it the tusk. We had a thing coming off the side of our helmet, coming on our head, and our character's name, our name, on it, and then this big arm coming off of it, the camera right here. So we're gonna do a scene together. I've got this tusk off of my head, she's got this tusk off of her head, and if we want to get close, we gotta go in and around, poke each other in the eye. You don't have to deal with that on a film set or on stage.
So all in all, you would say it's probably a little more difficult in some of the logistics.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
One of the challenges was our set would be dimensionally accurate, but it would literally just be rigging and pipes. We had amazing set builders, and they broke down and set up stuff in record time. But when we would walk into the studio, it was just a bunch of pipes. But that's where the animators were vital, because they would show us the actual environment on a computer screen. And so that helped inform our performance, because we actually knew where the setting or the environment of our stage, for lack of a better word, was. So that was something to get grips of. And also we learned to ask the right questions, like, what time of day is it? Is the weather going to be, is it raining or is it not raining? And all these things we learned over time to ask, so it would help better inform our performance and make it more accurate to the setting at hand.
That's definitely.
Is this on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd also like to add that we're on the vanguard of this medium, and so the entire
presentation of this kind of storytelling. You asked about other types of media, right? TV, film, etc.
Yeah.
So like you've got something that I don't think can be done in any other medium. You've got the length and the breadth of like a bingeable Netflix series, right? You've got, what is it, over 60 hours of content, I mean, just cutscene. You've got, you know, but you have the pace of a feature-length film. They're taking their time developing the story, developing the characters, and they have the resources, making it, you know, digital and technologically being able to do anything under the sun of a huge motion picture movie. So by combining all those elements, I think it is able to accomplish something that has those pieces of the different media, but is totally unique and I don't think can be done, at least right now, in any other medium except for in a video game, weirdly enough. So the acting has to adjust, for sure, but the whole experience becomes something I think that's greater than its parts.
And just along those lines too, were there any particular scenes that you felt were more difficult than others? Is there anything that stands out as a particular challenge, like saying something that we can all remember, like this particular part was a nightmare, or this particular part was so much fun? What stands out for you?
Working with Peter, you know, working with Peter is tough.
Thank you.
Nightmare.
I don't know if you've gathered that yet, but it was one of the biggest challenges. And
Likewise. No, I mean working with myself.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. It would be hard for me to be another person. I can only imagine trying to be Peter. It's difficult.
I'm sorry.
I apologize to you, you know.
Apology accepted, I guess.
Pistols at 20 paces, guys.
I had a lot of trouble, and I don't know if anybody else experienced this. I don't think that you did as much, but the swimming.
It's just one hand and then the other hand. What was interesting for me, and this kind of, you can piggyback on what Ben and Alex were saying, you know, we're working with these headpieces. A lot of the time, you know, we're doing 90+% of our own performance capture. There's some big things where we had doubles or stunt people for some we, you know, would hurt ourselves. But there was one scene early on in the first year of doing it where I think it was one of the scenes, I believe it was in Valentine, if I'm not mistaken. And we were doing an action scene, and I was working with Noshir Dalal, who plays Charles. And if anyone follows him on social media and watches him work out, the man's a beast. And one thing...
Watch him eat too.
Yes. Oh, watching him eat. But one thing trying to hug a fellow performer in a scene and dealing with that is if you're doing your own action scene, you need to put an additional, like this sponge elastic chin strap on, because if you get hard enough, that could fall off. And there was one scene where I was with Noshir as Bill, and he's in front of me, and we were scattering one out, and he didn't see me, and he plowed into me. I'm a big guy. I went flying, and this is before I put the chin strap on. After what happened, they said, no, we're doing chin straps for stuff like this. My headgear went flying off, and I laid down. And the crew behind the table's laughing because they're looking at their version of the performance capture, and Bill's head is just floating off the body. And I just remember laying down, and everyone's laughing. And Noshir's looking around, had no idea what happened, and just turned, "Where's Steve?" and looked down, and it was like, and I was laughing too, but yeah, so that's a different element. Also, never mess with Noshir.
You know, one of the questions I have, what I would like to know, did you expect it to be the phenomenal game, the phenomenal story, getting nominated for all these amazing awards, winning awards, to have people like these great young ladies right here who are dressed like the characters that you brought to life? How does that feel? Stand up, let everyone see you guys. When you see
Yesterday, they were all dressed up for Tahiti.
So when you see people like these great cosplayers who are dressed up as characters that you all brought to life, how does that make you feel? Really, like, it's like,
Where's Dutch?
don't worry, he has a plan.
It means so much. Right? We did it for you guys. We worked hard and we tried to do the best job that we could. So when you take the time out of your schedule to tell us how much it meant to you, it means so much. And I, speaking as a newcomer, Steve, Rob, and Ben, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those guys. And yeah. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I knew I had big shoes to fill, but eventually it got to the point where I realized it's not even worth trying to fill those shoes. Those shoes will always be full. Get your own shoes.
Real quick question, we got a couple of questions before we actually invite the audience to ask questions to the cast. One question to Ben. I know you was besides acting, you was a writer, you was also a director. Is there any advice for those that want to get, you did so much, but is there any advice for those that want to get into the same field that you do, writing and directing as well?
Do it would be the first. I think that a career in the arts is its own reward. And in terms of starting, I think Rob said this the other day. Don't wait for permission. Just get to work. And I've already seen the art that a lot of you have done. This fan art is overwhelming. But in terms of acting, wherever you live, there's going to be a community theater. Audition. You have a phone that's got a camera, better than the camera I had when I was a kid. Make a movie. Put it on YouTube. Don't wait. Get to work. That would be my advice. The other thing I would say about a career in the arts, a lot of people talk about being an actor and getting rejected. It's the wrong way to look at things. You can help with some projects, you can't help with others. I don't think there's another person that can play Sadie. I know it. I don't think there's another person that can play Dutch. I know it. It's my part. Sadie's her part. Go get your part. There's a part out there for you. And don't get disappointed with rejection, because it's not rejection. It's part of the process. And this is kind of corny. But Dutch always said he had a plan. The plan was to keep moving. And if your career in the arts is not where you want it to be, keep moving. The arts don't owe me anything. The arts don't owe you anything. We owe ourselves to it. So dedicate yourself to it.
Absolutely, man. Those wise words. So now, we're going to invite you guys to ask some questions to the cast. If you got a question, definitely raise your hand. We got Civic right there. Stand up. We got a lot of
I see somebody up here. I see somebody here. The bad guy wearing the black hat. This is going to be you. Stand on up, stand on up. Tell us your name and ask a question, please.
I'm Sam. My question is, I don't know if you guys are allowed to talk about this or not, but were there any parts that got cut from the game that you wish had not got cut?
Excellent question.
I'm sorry, did you say there are parts of the game that got cut?
Were there any particular scenes that got cut that didn't make it that you would have preferred that were installed in the game? Anything was left on the cutting room floor?
I was really funny most of the time.
I was too.
I wonder what happened there. I fought off wolves when we rescued Rob. I had a whole wolf fighting scene. I would like to see that. Wouldn't you like to see that? Let's write some letters. See if we can get that back. Also, I don't know if this piece of dialogue came in, but I was talking with Dutch. I don't know, maybe you guys would know better than I do. And it was some kind of meta satire on gaming. And I'm like, Dutch, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, you know how you stick with the arts, you know, plan. And I'm like, it just seems like we're running, and then we stop, and then we run again, and then we stop, and sometimes we pick up things, and then we stop. And had this whole dialogue about just being in a video game. It felt like I keep running, and then I press pause, and then I stop. I don't know if that made it in, but it was really funny.
Nice, nice. All right, we have another gentleman right here. Would you stand up, give us your name, and ask your question, please.
Sure, name's Roy. As far as when you're doing this dialogue and everything, did you guys get the script ahead of time? Because I know when I played the game, Chapter 5 hit me kind of hard. I mean, you know, we worked very hard, and then Chapter 5 hit. And I played it very early on, so I couldn't talk about it with my friends at work because that was very compromising to me. So I wonder how Chapter 5 hit you guys when you found out.
What happens in Chapter 5?
We would typically get our scripts about a week in advance when we were doing performance capture, which was most of the job. And then maybe 10-15% of it was in the booth, and then we would get that on the day. But yeah, a week in advance, and we would prepare. Like Steven said, you know, we didn't want to spoil it for any of the fans, so everything was really secretive. So we had no one to talk about it except with ourselves. So we really did a lot of prep work, and we had the luxury of being able to work intensely with each other and getting to know each other's characters and starting to understand the motivations of them. So that was kind of invaluable. So in a way, the NDA was kind of a double-edged sword. It was actually a benefit as well as what could be conceived as a hindrance in some ways.
All right, thank you very much.
We got another question.
I'm actually asking for my daughter, so it's a question for, a silly request for Rob and Roger. Would you mind delivering a line in your character from the game? The line from Toy Story that Woody said, "There's a snake in my boot."
My goodness, I don't remember how I said it.
You didn't, Woody. Tom Hanks said it.
Toy Story.
Are you trying to be funny now?
There's a snake in my boot. No, that's the other boot. Yeah, there's a spider in the other one.
This is probably why it took us 5.5 years to make this game.
All right, guys, one more right here. What's your name? What's your question?
I'm Patrick, and my question is pretty general. What was the general consensus and feeling behind the ending, and how it all culminated in that last mission? You know, I'm not gonna.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers yet.
Which ending?
The ending of the, not the epilogue, you know, the other ending.
There's three characters.
The one with, the one with Arthur, I'm not gonna spoil it.
One quiz. Me and Pete, we worked on that for a while, didn't we? Yeah, we worked in tandem with our two stunt doubles, who were amazing. And the way the animators blended in our performance with the guys, with the work of the stunt guys, was absolutely mind-blowing. Wow, that took a few days, didn't it, man?
It was at least a few days,
Yeah, and it was quite physical. And
well, for a lot of that choreography, the stunt guys were doing the fight.
yeah, but the animators would butt in every once in a while, saying, "Oh, it'd be really cool if you did that too." Like elbows to the faces and smashing heads into the cliff face.
And we tried to do as much as we could as far as that was concerned. So
we always had the face cam, as we mentioned earlier. The stunt guys had the luxury of just having a skull cap, and so they had. Obviously, they were far more athletic, but they also had the luxury of not having the camera pointing at their face too. So they had a lot more mobility, especially as far as the head was concerned. So they could react. Because one of the biggest parts about it is trying to get a punch in the face and jerking your head back, it would more often than not just, it could jolt the camera, you know? Stunt guys didn't have that problem.
All right, we got one more question over here. What's your question?
Hi, I'm Paul. I was wondering if there's any like old Western TV shows, actors, or movies that influenced like how you acted with your character.
I'm a huge fan of all westerns, spaghetti. You know, it's the first film genre, really, and I'm a huge fan of Clint Eastwood. But to be honest with you, most of my work was inspired by, I'll say, John Wayne, the dry, sardonic wit that he had, you know, and also Toshiro Mifune, who is an amazing Japanese actor who did a lot of Kurosawa films, some of which were inspired the spaghetti westerns for a few dollars more, a fistful of dollars. But you know, he was able to be dry, wit, funny, scary as hell the next second. I took a lot of pages out of his book as well. I think he's a fantastic performer.
All right. One more right here. Stand up, sir.
Hey, how you doing? I have a question actually two questions actually, but one for Dutch over here. The first time that I saw the commercials for the game, before I actually bought it, like they have a big voiceover from you, and I'm hearing this and I'm thinking this is one of my favorite actors. This is Jeff Bridges who did a voice for this game. I was like, how did they get him to do that? Was that an impression or was that just what you ended up with?
I hear from time to time Jeff Bridges. And first of all, being associated with him in any way is an honor. I love Jeff Bridges. No intention whatsoever. I don't hear it. I know people do, but it certainly was not intended.
What's your other question?
You guys were talking about the motion capture devices and how difficult they were to work with. At the end of one of the scenes early on in the game, like your character Arthur, you're walking around after one of the big events, everybody's having a party and there's music and when the girls ask you to dance. How did you film that and was it difficult to do that with your motion capture device?
Oh yeah, that was Sam Strelitz, fantastic actor, who we all love very much. And I think we did another dance with Joe Armanox, who plays Karen. But dancing wasn't so hard as kissing or hugging. It was a little, you know, and after a couple of years, you get very adept at maneuvering it and having spatial awareness of your partner's head cam as well as your own. So that wasn't so bad. But it was a joy to do with Sam. She's awesome.
But there was
Good job, Dutch.
That's not my fault. There's no speaker near me.
I just wanted to bring up Kylie Murnoff, who plays Miss Grimshaw. I got to dance with her. It was my great honor. It was my great honor to do so. And she had to look at my chest instead of in my eyes. Because I'm much taller. I'm 6 inches taller than Dutch is. Dancing with her was great.
All right, we got one more question for you. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Sean, and I actually have a request for Benjamin. Would you possibly deliver your famous line with Daniel Disco Boys for me?
Say it again, I didn't hear it.
Would you possibly be able to deliver your famous line with Daniel Disco Boys for me?
Those damn... What am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Those damn old... Come on, song guy. Yeah, should I try another microphone?
The part of Dutch will be played by...
Yeah, can you do it, dude? The line is, those damn O'Driscoll boys? Those damn O'Driscoll boys? That's the line you want me to say? Okay. Did I do it?
Okay, we got one other question. If you want to stand up, tell us your name.
My name is Dean. I have a couple questions.
You get one.
I get one? All right, we'll start with the one that applies to a few of you.
For those of you who portrayed returning characters from the first game into the second, are there any interesting differences in the way you performed? If so, what elements did you find important to eliminate or introduce to the characters in fitting the evolving narrative? And for those of you who don't have the criteria for that question, I also asked, what are your personal interpretations of the word redemption, and how do you feel that could apply to each of your characters? Sorry for playing that.
Sounds like a test.
Steve is so prepared.
That's a good question.
I'll start when I found out this was going to be a prequel. The people who play the original game is just like, wow, Bill Williamson is really angry, and he is. And what I wanted to do is bring a more kind of like go in depth on his more human side. And I would recall a mission in the first game where it's the one where John and Abigail go to deliver the corn seed to Bonnie McFarlane, and they're coming back and they're talking about everything John went through, and he's talking about just how crazy Bill had gotten in New Austin, and Abigail had mentioned, she's like, Bill? A terror? And she's like, that's not who he was. He's a clumsy, dull idiot. And going to the second game, I made the decision, it's like, I wanted to show Bill how Abigail saw him. Whereas this clumsy guy, but she said it in kind of like, kind of a passive but somewhat warm, like, Bill's harmless. How did he turn into that? So when I approached Bill in Red Dead 2, I took it as someone who really just wanted attention. I took it as Bill as someone who's just completely misunderstood and doesn't know how to express himself properly. And that's just the impetus into what you guys got in the new game.
I think Micah is misunderstood. Tremendously misunderstood. So,
yeah, Micah wasn't in the one.
he was there in spirit.
Yes.
Okay, we got one more question. The last question. What's the question?
Hi, I'm Juliet. So my question is, like, if you played through the game, do you play with high honor or low honor? High honor.
I can't play with low honor. I can't bring myself to do it.
I definitely it's the best ending.
Nice, that's excellent. Well, that's all the questions that we have. Guys, thank you so much. You guys are so